Hi guys, hello. This time from Europe. I'm currently in Milan and news for you right away. You can still get your Italian second citizenship, your second passport, if you're fast enough and make this decision within next 50 days because the government regulations are getting updated. And this is what also we'll be discussing today. And second, if you want to move to Norway and get a job there, this is the best time to do so because several industries dramatically developing this time of our life, like right now in Norway, and you have a huge chance to land a job in Norway, and especially if you're coming from countries like the US, Canada, Australia, the UK. Guys, you will be considered as high-skilled immigrants, high-skilled workers, and getting that work permit, your working visa will be just a matter of time. So, two things to discuss to you are your dual citizenship if you want to come to Italy soon, and your work visa or work experience if you're planning to go to Norway. So, I spent more than a month between Mexico and the US. I visited New York for some time, and also I was in Florida for a little bit more than a week. And today, guys, my insights, why I decided to come back to Europe, what are the differences between life in the US and in Europe, and why I highly advise all of you to have your second passport, your dual citizenship. It's never been easier to get one than it is now. If you have any questions, all my details in the description to this video. Approach me directly via email and I will answer your specific questions. But let's start with Italy. As you know, for many years, if you had your Italian ancestors, it could be your Italian parents, Italian grandparents, even Italian grandparents. So basically, if you know that your ancestors came to the US or to any other country from Italy, based on these relationships, you could get Italian second passport fairly easy. The situation is about to change in 50 days. Yes, in 50 days, it's going to be a change of law, seems like. And before getting that second Italian passport, you will have to live in Italy for 3 years prior. Otherwise, you will not get it. Situation right now that if you can show that you have Italian relatives, Italian ancestors, you can get that second passport, your dual citizenship, in a matter of 8 months. So, guys, those of you who are still on the fence, if you want to open this Italian second passport or not, you have 50 days to do so without this need of living in the country for 3 years. Right now, next 50 days, you can apply from the country where you live, proving that you have Italian ancestors, and you will get your second passport in a matter of 8 months. If you wait for 50 days, right, so this regulation might change. We will find out it for sure in 50 days, but for now, the situation looks like that they might say that before you get the second passport, Italian passport, you will have to live in Italy for 3 years. So that's up to you. Any questions? My email address is over there. Approach directly, ask any questions you have. On my trip to Mexico/the US, I met 5 clients, and 2 of them, they would be couples, and they see their retirement in Italy. They both from New York, currently living in New York, but situation, life there, actually they made this decision to have their retirement in a country like Italy, and there are so many factors why I tend to agree with those people that it might be a really good option. But still, even if you don't move to country entirely, like permanently, you can always get this European citizenship, have it as your second one, and it doesn't bite. But so many nice options will be simply open for you based on your second citizenship. And the first thing to mention, guys, this is the question I was asked a million times during last month about healthcare. Like starting from your dentist, to your full health check, to giving birth, everything is so much cheaper if you decide to go for such things here in Europe. I'm currently in Italy, and I do not even consider any other country for my dental works, for my dental procedures, for giving birth in the future. For now, after living in 7 countries, I can clearly tell you that Italy is the best in terms of medical healthcare. If you have a different opinion, please drop me a comment down below. I will be happy to see what you think and why you think so. So please describe, let us know what you think, why do you think so. But for now, after starting my life in Russia, the UK, Norway, Malta, France, I would go for my healthcare anything only in Italy. Again, starting from my dental appointments to having birth. That's like honestly out of discussion. Italy is the best. Medical personnel, especially in a bigger places like Rome, Milan, they will all speak English. The prices compared to what I've heard about in the US, I know it can vary from one state to another, but from what I discussed, like recently, before I decided to take the trip Mexico/the US, I had my regular dentist appointment. I'm running twice a year, which is checkup, scan, you know, like when they take the scan of your teeth, and hygiene. So all in all, checkup, that ultrasound scans and hygiene, followed up with hygiene, I paid 85 euros for everything. For the whole appointment, I paid 85 euros, which is like $95. Also, let me know in the comments down below how much you usually pay for your dental appointment, your checkup, hygiene, and all these necessary things we all have to do at least twice a year. I'll be happy to see your opinions. Thank you so much, Kelsey. Finally, I managed to crack this mic and it's working perfectly. Now, what kind of healthcare? Wait time, Kelsey, really good question. It depends. For dentist, you need to wait for a few days. When it's about surgery, for example, when it's something like surgery procedure, abdominal surgery I had in September, if you go private, if you have your private insurance, waiting time is usually a few weeks. If it's you go with the government, it might take several months. But private insurance in Italy has nothing to do with your private insurance, guys, you have in the US. Private insurance in Italy is about, I don't know, 50 euros per month, and most probably it will be paid by your employer. Yes, it will be paid by your employer, and no matter if just the husband is working for that company, the whole family will be covered with that insurance. Definitely the children, definitely the wife. If you just guys living together, if you just partners, it will require some additional paperwork of how long for you've been together and how serious your relationship is, right? But all in all, if you're long-term girlfriend, let's put it this way, if you're living together and you like together for 3+ years, it can be also done. So this insurance, private insurance, usually covered by your Italian or European employer, and it usually covers the whole family. So I've never faced any insurance. I never had any in the US. But the insurance I have here in Italy, it's Bupa International, and I know that some of necessary procedures, it's covered all over the world, and this insurance is provided by employment of the family member. So that's how it works. Yes, as usual, I will keep you busy today for 30 minutes. Please jump in the chat, ask me anything you have to ask. If you're watching it recorded on my YouTube channel after, please feel free to write me any comment. I'm getting back to them quite frequently. So In terms of healthcare, I would definitely say that Europe is winning here big time. And I keep advising to all of you guys, if you're planning to trip somewhere to Italy, and especially in Rome, allocate some time and go for your dentist checkup with Italian dentist. Your checkup and hygiene will cost you 85 euros, okay, per person. It's like the price of going out for like any tourist trap restaurant if you choose one of those. 85 euros, and you will have a clear situation what's happening with your teeth and if you need any further job done. Same with your full health checkup. If you're planning your trip to Italy or in any other European countries, guys, instead of visiting museums, if you're like me, above 30 years old, honestly, you better allocate your time and also spend one day visiting dentist, visiting another healthcare professional, and have this checkup for you to make sure that everything is good with your health. Money-wise, it will be always much cheaper to do it here in Europe. To book a dentist, again, if you need my advice, which dentist to go with, I have several of them and they all speak English. They speak really good English, so you will not have any language barrier. But for 85 euros, again, you will have all your situation, what's happening in your mouth, and if you need any further things. Healthcare, as I said, in terms of retirement, in terms of pregnancy, in terms of giving birth, in terms of even having your pregnancy, I find Europe, especially Italy, one of the best places to be. And let me tell you why. Because, well, our second point I wanted to outline is work-life balance. I would put it life-work balance. Because, guys, every time I travel to the US, no matter that I don't even live there yet, I don't need to pay rent, I don't need to pay car insurance, I don't need to have any like parking slots and everything. The atmosphere there starts like stressing me right away. The amount I will pay in the supermarket, how long that supermarket from your living arrangements, that you really must have a car living in the US. Okay, maybe not in New York. I haven't reached that part of the United States. I'm planning to do this year, but visiting California, visiting Orlando, Florida, I feel like you cannot live in the US without having that car. And together with that car, it comes, okay, cost for the car, I guess, finance, plus your insurance, plus your parking spots and all these things. But even without mentioning this, every time I go to the US, I'm replicating the diet I'm having here in Europe and checking how much of a difference you have to spend being in the US compared to what you would normally spend here in Italy. Guys, like, it is already stressful. It is really stressful. And for me, having several sources of income and considering myself as an entrepreneur, I really feel less stressed being in Europe. And considering how, like, all these hormonal levels and everything during your pregnancy, or, that peace of mind you will want to have when you at the stage of your retirement, I don't feel like the US is the right country for this. Like, that's just my opinion. If you disagree, let me know. Comment section is all for you. So for things like education, maternity, all procedures, even like having your pregnancy, giving birth, which is free in Europe, just to let you know. You might pay extra if you go for a private room in the hospital if you want one, but still, that price you will pay here, nothing compared to what you would pay in the States. I personally visited, talking about Florida, talking about California. Guys, like, private healthcare services you would get here in Europe, in Italy, and any healthcare services you will get in the US is just like totally different worlds. And again, just to decrease your level of stress, while you're pregnant, or you're about to retire, if you don't want that additional stress in your life, just come and try it. I mean, come and try life in Europe. And after that, in a few years, in 1 year, if you feel like you will decide if you want to go back, or you prefer staying here and really having life and work balance. I mentioned this many times. Even if you're officially employed in Europe, when you have your official employment, you don't work evenings, you don't work weekends. If you work outside your official working hours, usually you're getting extra pay. Like in Norway, for example, if you work for the company and you need to travel outside your official working hours, at least you're getting paid double for the time. In some companies, it's going to be triple. I'm talking about life and work balance, which brought me to Norway again. Guys, came to Milan right away, got so much information about lots of openings happening in Norway these days. So they running quite a number of oil and gas projects. They actively entering this green energy situation. Tech sector is developing significantly these days. So my point is, if you are in the fields such as oil and gas, engineering, green energy, tech, IT, and you really feel like super tired to stay where you are, you really don't want to have any side hustles, any additional incomes. You just want to live your life, have enough from your official employment, have the rest subsidized by your company or by the government. You really feel like seeing your pension in this life. Norway would be the only country in Europe to expect this. Because I was talking to my friends here in other countries of Europe, talking about France, talking about Italy, talking about Spain. It feels like at our age, like, you know, people in their 30s, below 30s, a little bit above 30s, guys, we will not see our pension. We will not. Check what's happening with all these government budgets and where they're going these days. From what I see, the only country currently in the world where you will actually see your pension and it's going to be good enough to actually cover your life necessary things, your expectations from life, it's Norway. There you can really have one employment. It will really cover all your expenses, including a couple of trips per year, you know, going somewhere south to the seaside, your skiing, snowboarding experiences, which we all know the price is really interesting. So if you're that person, you just want that quiet life, you just want people to leave you alone and live your best and just, you know, have one employment, don't care about side hustle, additional incomes, you know, all this, you just like, you don't want to do it. And I totally understand. These things becoming not impossible in places like London, in places like, I'm sure, the majority of states of the US. It's happening pretty much the same in larger cities in Europe, like Paris, Milan, Rome, when your official salary, you have to pay up to 60% for your rent. And to the point that not many people can actually afford paying that rent, living single life. And they're really looking for roommates, you know, neighbors, or they partnering up. They're getting a partner to pay that rent together. Guys, what sort of foundation we have for relationships these days? I really feel that this is so wrong. And instead of looking for the person, you know, like to become life partners just for the sake of paying rent together, guys, honestly, you better start side hustle. like come on, like, give love some credit. It's love. It's supposed to be romantic. We are not getting married. We are not moving in with somebody to pay rent, you know, to benefit financially somehow. Just like it's madness. Okay, if you live in a city like London, I had a similar situation when my official salary was not really covering, like my accommodation expenses per month. Guys, that's how my YouTube channels came to see me, started my business. Like, this is what the side hustles about, just, to have the lifestyle you want, not the lifestyle the company, the country happy to propose you. That's my idea. So if you really want that peace of mind, that life and work balance, you don't want to kill your own evenings and weekends developing those side hustles, you want your family to be safe, you want your children to be safe, you want free healthcare, you want free education, and you don't want to study the local language, guys, Norway is the best option. Any question, my email address in the description to this video. Just ask me, tell me about your situation, and I will help you to sort out what's happening in your life, guys. Yes, I canceled my Calendly free appointments because it was way too many of them. So I ran those free consultations for 2 months, and I'm not doing it again because it's draining me. So no, write me an email, and well, I'll try my best to help as many of you as I can. In any case, I also run my private consultations, the link in the description. I have never seen any situation I don't have the solution for. So rest assured, in my 15 years of constant movement, of having 3 passports, I think, well, your question is my experience, okay? What you have in mind, I already lived on several times. So I also have my relocation community. Currently, I'm calling it double agent, because I cannot stress enough how important it is these days to have 2 passports at least. When you can choose where to live, where you can choose where to get those healthcare services from, where you choose where to send your children to study, where you want to send your parents to retire, all these good things coming from having 2 citizenships. So I cannot emphasize enough this fact that these days having these 2 passports is the best investment, the best present you can possibly give to yourself, to live that freedom, to have that choice in life, when you are not dependent on what's happening in the country, what's going to happen tomorrow, what's going to happen in 2 years. And especially, I was talking to lots of people from the US, and I can see this confusion, like people currently living week by week, because so many new updates happening in the country's political situation, economical situation. And honestly, guys, that stress does not contribute any good to your health. Because honestly, with the level of stress you can experience in the US, at least they should give you free healthcare. I think it's the least they can do for you, just not to, not to be that stressed in your life. Okay, I'm jumping in your comments. I have in the chat. If you can show proof of income but do not have a job or own business, is it possible to get? Yes, absolutely. Please, different situation in Italy and in Norway. If you can show. Yes, so in Italy, you can go for digital nomad visa, where you need to have a proof of 30,000 euro per year equivalent from any country but Italy. Right, so for example, I have lots of clients now, they still work in the UK with a salary 50,000-60,000 pounds per year, but we are negotiating with them how to talk to their current employers, and if they don't need to be presented in the office every single day, they are moving to Italy. They are applying for digital nomad visa, and having that proof from their current UK employers, they're getting their digital nomad visas. Guys, if this also your case, please also send me an email and I will try to help you with this thing. Digital nomad visa also exists in Norway. In this case, you need to show that you have at least 1 client or one potential client, you're going to be working in Norway, so like coming locally. And another thing, you also in Norway, you don't need to show, if you coming as a business owner, you don't need to show any proof of your current income. You just need to show your business plan, what you're planning to do, and what is your forecasted expected income. Okay, so what is the income you are planning to reach, okay, your expected income in 1 year, and this is the main ground for Norwegian digital nomad visa. However, I would consider other ways of, like moving to Norway. Every single case is different. So that's why, Chris, if you just explain me, I know that you visited Norway. Please let me know how it went. And if you plan actually to move to Europe, we can check different options for you. Because, well, Italy and Norway, those are like, two, I would say, different places. As I'm sharing with my community all the time, Norway is the country, if you're a young professional, if you nearby or in your 30s, and you're looking for official employment there, and you're looking for like settlement there, and you really want a much better future for your kids, safety, all this subsidized by the government and all these good things, Norway is the right country. Italy is the country I personally feel like, yes, you can get local employment here, but you still need to have your side income happening, because salaries in Italy are not the best, far not the best even in Europe and of course in the world. But as me, coming here, running your own business or having several streams of income, that's like, this is the best life. However, having an official employment, even in a decent company here in Italy, if you're Italian, watching me from Italy now, please confirm this in the comments, it still feels like it's not enough. It feels like this. I speak to my friends from Italy all the time, and after a certain age, to be precise, after 35, they all getting into this side hustle, side income situation where official employment is not enough anymore, and they're getting into consultancy, they're monetizing their hobbies, their skills. Actually, I'm teaching you all of this during my successful relocation program. You will also find all the links to my program in the description. It's like 25 lessons, and we cover everything you need to know for your successful relocation. If you want to get a job somewhere in Norway or in any other country you want to move to, if you want to come as me as a business owner and run your business just in a country based on its climate, affordability of good food, decent food, healthcare, and all these good perks, and you don't want to be economically, you don't want to be employed by that country, but you just want to choose your location based on your personal preferences, that program is also for you. And if you're sitting somewhere cold right now and you're like, okay, I had enough of this place, I want to go somewhere else, I can run my activities online, what would be the best location for me? My email address is there for you, so just ask. Okay, what is the best option for someone who does not have citizenship by descent and option to relocate? I'm an IT. Would it still qualify? Hi, Zalika, yes, if I'm pronouncing this right. No, from California. Yes, absolutely. So, Zalika, I hope I'm pronouncing the name correctly. Also, you can drop me an email. You'll find it in the description. From what I see, right? Option number one, if you work for your employer in the US and they're okay with you to work internationally. I have cases where people negotiate with their employers that, okay, I'm working remotely, but I'm moving somewhere to Europe, Portugal, Italy, Greece, nicer place, I would say. Usually the employers, if you're in IT, they don't really care where you are physically, right? So the only thing, true. The only thing is to understand the time difference, right? But you can reach this agreement with your current employer. So how I used to do it when I was still working for my UK company, but was traveling in different locations, you just switch from, time you're spending to result you're giving to the company. So you can be super transparent with your employer saying like, look, my plan is to relocate to Europe for a few months to see how it works for actually both of us. The only obstacle I can see is the time difference. So shall we discuss like specific times we're going to communicate? It can be later in the evening. Well, like I'm writing all my clients from the US, my evening times works amazing for me. So my mornings are usually, I'm doing my things. And starting from 3 p.m. local time, Italian time, I have my dear clients coming from the US. So that's absolutely fine. So if your employer, he or she okay having those chat with you, that's going to be their morning and your evening. And also if they okay not count how many hours you spent working, but what sort of result you're giving them, you're totally fine. Because in California, I don't know which place, lots of companies super open-minded, especially tech companies. They don't really care where you're located as long as you deliver the result they want you to deliver. They're fine with you to be on Mars, as long as you have decent Wi-Fi and as long as you deliver the result they want you to deliver. So that would be it. And if you're running your own projects, like me, for example, you have several clients or you're developing your own projects, so basically you treat yourself as a business owner, even easier. You are just getting your nomad visa, which can be 1-2 years, right? And during that time, you will decide if this place works for me. Because usually, how I see it, I keep telling this to my community all the times, guys, your first trip to the country of your dreams should be discovery trip. So basically, you're not going as a tourist, staying in the hotels, booking all the museums around. No, you're going for 2 weeks, ideally 1 month. 1 month, yeah? And let's take Italy as an example. 2 weeks, you're staying in the south part of Italy, and 2 weeks, you're staying in the northern part of Italy. You're staying in Airbnb, and you have an actual notebook with you where you're writing down all pluses and all minuses, pros and cons of those places. Because first 3 days, 1 week is going to be your honeymoon. I guarantee you will arrive to that country and you'll be, oh my God, I love everything here. I love every single corner of my new street. People are so friendly. Dogs are smiling at me. So you will be just, like honeymoon situation, right? After week number 1, especially after week number 2, you will start seeing those, let's say irritating things. They might work for you, but they also might not work for you at all. For example, talking about California, I love the state. I don't know where about you, Zalika, from California, from which city. Last year I spent more than a month in Los Angeles. And I've heard many people, especially from Europe, oh my God, how can you stay in Los Angeles? It's so dangerous. It's so horrible. It's so expensive, blah, blah, blah. I enjoyed it. I loved it so much. For me, I was waking up earlier, typical Californian style. I was going back home, finishing all my activities at 5 p.m. and I did not face any homelessness just because, after 5 p.m., after darkness, I was staying home doing my activities and I really enjoyed it. I haven't visited LA downtown because I've been told that it's not the best place to be if you're alone. When I was meeting my friends for dinner, later hours, I was taking my Uber. And you will be surprised, I spent more than a month in Los Angeles without having a car. So every time I needed to go to Santa Monica to spend my day on the beach, I was just Ubering it. I was taking my Uber, going there, coming back. I did it a few times. So I didn't even need to rent a car, but I understand if I move there for 4 or 5 months or so, I will definitely rent it. So you see, we are all different. But from my own experience, when I move to any other place, Los Angeles, California, London, England, Milan, Italy, Rome, Italy, Paris, France, I don't know, you name it, Tel Aviv, Israel. In a matter of 2 weeks, I can tell you right away, do I see myself living in this country or not? Fresh example, I went to Mexico. I ended up staying there more than 3 weeks, in fact. And I love spending my time there. I see myself spending 1 month per year there, but that's it. This is it. I will not relocate there. Simple things. Healthcare, I doubt it big time, right? Safety. I was staying in Cancun in hotel area. If you're from the US, you know this area good. But still, like evening time, it was nowhere to go, and that you can go along beach side, but town center and other like activities is not really my cup of tea. So after that, I really don't understand my American friends who are considering moving to Mexico for the living. To go there as your like winter escape for a few weeks, getting property and putting it on Airbnb after, that's interesting. That's actually quite cool idea. Just to escape winter in like colder parts of the US, that's really cool. But moving to Mexico, when it comes to healthcare, education for your kids, like other things over there, like driving, all this constant police asking you for some money, no matter if you've done something or not. So like all these things, those are doubtable. Okay, so it's completely up to it's your choice. It's up to you. But for me, after staying in one place for 2 weeks, you have a clear understanding if this is the right place for you or not. Let's talk about final point I have for you today. Safety and financial stability. Safety, you tell me, depending which state from the US you are from. I felt super safe in Florida, in Orlando. The only thing, I couldn't find any zebra crossing. It was really difficult to walk around the place. Like I can clearly see that everyone is driving there and no one is walking. I was, I don't know, the only one in the area. But in California, in especially San Francisco, Los Angeles, I would not say that it's like 100% safe, and especially in some areas, and especially later in the evening. Guys, talking about like bigger places in Europe, talking about Paris, London, Milan, Rome, Norway, like it's the safest. It's like Japan. It's way too safe. Too safe to the point that it's boring. But anyway, so larger places in Europe, I would never have this, safety issues after certain times, as I would have in some places in the US. No matter that it's also city center, as you call it, downtown. Usually in Europe, it's safe. It's walkable. It's absolutely fine. And you don't feel uncomfortable, even being female, walking alone, let's say at 10 p.m., 11 p.m., even midnight. You are okay to walk alone. That's fine. That's totally fine. But in LA, in San Francisco, well, some areas in downtown city center, I would not go alone. That's what I noticed. So, and financial stability. And here you tell me, especially if you're watching me from the US, from Canada, how do you feel? Do you feel financially stable, especially long term, like not now, but in a matter of 2 years, 3 years, 5 years? Do you feel like you are financially secure? How do you feel about current situation and what's happening? And I'm giving you my opinion, right? It's really not close to not possible to lose your job in Europe, including Norway, including Italy, including the UK. It's a massive procedure to kick somebody out of their working place, and the employer must have really strong foundation before they make such decision. They will give you 100 warnings. After that, if they announce this decision, you will still have 3-6 months to stay with the company to get your pay while you're looking for another job. So the situation is like totally different. You cannot lose your job anywhere in Europe in a matter of 2 weeks. It does work like this here. No, No, it's not possible no matter what you do. Maybe, I don't know, it's like super low skill jobs, which I'm not really familiar with, but I'm talking to my community. I'm talking to high skilled individuals like IT, oil and gas, engineering, all those nice industry, sales. You will not lose your job in a matter of 2 weeks. No matter how hard you try, it's against human rights here in Europe, and that's why it's super safe in this case. Another financial advantage of being in Europe is ability to build side hustle, because as I mentioned, you don't need to work evenings, you don't need to work weekends, and you also have up to different countries from 4 to 6 weeks during the year as your paid annual leave. So you even have your holidays. And you have countless numbers of sick leaves. They're also paid usually, and you can use it. But I don't advise, but still, if you need, you can use them. Anyway, so, and lots of subsidized things by the government. As I said, in Italy, it will be health insurance coming from your employer. In Norway, it will be electric car, even help with buying your first property. So it depends on different companies, it depends on different locations, but it feels like no matter what happens in your life, if you reach a certain point, the government will just help you. This is how it feels. So in terms of safety plus financial stability, I would definitely invite you and try your life in Europe. You will tell me after how you feel, if it works for you. I'm not saying that, oh my God, okay, no, I'm not from that country anymore, giving my passport away, moving to Europe. No, absolutely not, guys. I want you to have two of those passports, dual citizenship, and just try that life, discover it in any other places rather than your own. You can try it for a month, you can try it for half a year, for 2 years, totally up to you. And after that, it's going to be up to you to decide if you want to go back or you prefer staying in that new country. So this is it for today. Thank you so much for being with me and watching this. I love you so much. All your questions are super welcome in the comment section down below. I love you, and I will see you soon. Bye, guys.